She said, "You're just a wedding DJ, Grayson. You play cheesy love songs for drunk uncles while real DJs like Chad drop beats that actually make people move." Her words hit me like a skipped track. Right there in the middle of the reception hall, with fairy lights twinkling overhead and the bride's family swaying on the dance floor to some classic Ed Sheeran. Harper had been sipping her third gin and tonic, her dress borrowed from her roommate, who worked at a boutique in Soho, clinging a little too tightly as she leaned into me. We were tucked in a corner booth, supposed to be celebrating my gig, but she turned it into her personal roast session. The guests were oblivious, lost in the glow of the open bar, but I felt every eye that might glance our way. 8 months in, and this was how she chose to drop the bomb. In front of her friends. No less the ones who'd shown up uninvited because networking meant crashing my sets to scout for their club scene. I froze, my hands still on the mixing board remote in my pocket. The faint hum of the wireless headphones around my neck reminding me I had a job to do. Harper's laugh was sharp, the kind that cut through the baseline I just layered in. Her best friend, Mia, a promoter for one of those underground spots in Brooklyn, snorted into her drink. No shade, Gray, but seriously, Chad's got that residency at Output. What? You spinning Sweet Caroline for the flower girl next? I forced a smile. The one I use when a groom begs for that one song from his high school prom 5 minutes before vows. But inside, it burned. Harper and I had met at a mutual friend's house party last winter, spinning tracks for a low-key crowd, her dancing like she owned the floor, all fire and confidence. She was 26, assistant events coordinator at a midtown firm, always talking about leveling up her career, her vibe, her everything. I was 28, running my own DJ service out of a one-bedroom in Queens, booking weddings from Jersey suburbs to Hamptons estates. Solid gigs. 6 figures last year if you factored in the tips from tipsy bridesmaids and the corporate holiday parties that paid double. But to Harper, I was the guy who showed up with vinyl crates and a backup generator, not the artist dropping heat. It hadn't always been like this. The first few months were electric. We'd stay up till dawn after my sets, her curled against me on the couch, critiquing my mixes like she was the next big tastemaker. That transition? Fire, babe. But imagine it in a club, walls shaking. I'd laugh, pull her closer, and we'd end up tangled in sheets, talking dreams. She knew I started as a club kid, hustling open mics in the village, but weddings paid the rent. Steady cash. No drama from promoters stiffing you on the back end. I owned my gear outright: Pioneer controllers, Sennheiser cans, a van with custom racks. Hell, I'd even scored a shout-out from a celebrity wedding planner after nailing a set for a Real Housewife's daughter's nuptials. But lately, with her dipping into that club crowd, it was like I'd become the punchline. Things shifted around month 5, when she started hanging with Mia and the crew. They were all about the scene: bottle service, VIP lists, the kind of nights that ended with Ubers at 4 in the morning and hangovers that felt like badges of honor. Harper's texts got shorter, her stories full of neon-lit booths and collab teases with guys like Chad, tall, tattooed, with a SoundCloud that screamed Underground King. We'd argue about it at home, in the apartment I rented in Astoria, the one with the exposed brick she loved until she didn't. It's not about you, Gray. It's about ambition. You could be bigger if you ditched the taffeta crowds. I'd bite my tongue, remind myself she was stressed, her boss piling on events, her side hustle as a freelance stylist barely covering Ubers. But the digs piled up. Why can't we go to Output instead of another country club gig? Or, Chad just landed Ibiza. What's your next big drop? I make good money, I'd say. Booked through next summer, with a wait list for elopements. But to her, it was safe, not sexy. Still, I thought we could ride it out. Love's messy like a bad tweak the levels, and it smooths. Last Saturday, she texted mid-afternoon. Gig tonight at the plaza? Taking Mia and the girls. Chad's DJing afterparty at Lubain. You in? Red flag waving like a caution cone at a construction site, but I said sure. The plaza wedding was prime black tie affair for a tech heir and his influencer bride. 300 guests. Open bar till midnight. I'd prepped the set list for weeks. Classics for the olds, EDM remixes for the millennials, a surprise hip-hop hour for the groomsmen. Harper knew this was my wheelhouse, the gig that could lead to referrals from the planner, who repped A-listers. We rolled up in my van, me in slacks and a crisp button-down, her in that slinky red number that turned heads. The lobby was marble and magic, chandeliers dripping like frozen champagne. Setup was smooth. The AV guy and I synced in under 30 minutes, and by cocktail hour, I had the room pulsing with a soft jazz vibe. Harper and her crew claimed a high top near the speakers, already on Prosecco. Mia waved me over during a break. Gray, this place is lit. But spill, how do you not die of boredom spinning this vanilla stuff? I chuckled it off. Pays the bills. And hey, these drunk uncles tip fat. Harper rolled her eyes, but pulled me down for a kiss that tasted like victory. For a minute, felt normal. Dinner service hit. Speeches flowed. Cake was cut. Then the bride and groom's first dance seam fading in Can't Help Falling in Love, on vinyl for that authentic crackle. The floor filled, and I transitioned to a mashup of Bruno Mars and Daft Punk that had the bridal party whooping. That's when Harper struck. I'd stepped off the booth for a water run, weaving through suits and gowns, when I heard her voice cut over the din. She was holding court with Mia, Chad's girlfriend Lena, a bottle girl with aspirations, and a couple other hangers-on from the club world. They were critiquing my set like it was open mic night. It's cute, but come on. Wedding vibes? So basic. I paused behind a pillar, not eavesdropping on purpose, just grabbing my bottle from the bar, but Harper amped it up. You're just a wedding DJ, Grayson, she said, loud enough that a passing waiter glanced over. You play cheesy love songs for drunk uncles while real DJs like Chad drop beats that actually make people move. The group erupted giggles from the girls. A fist bump from one of the guys who'd tagged along. My stomach dropped like a needle skip. This wasn't a private jab over brunch. This was public execution. In the middle of my biggest gig of the month. Guests milled nearby. The bride's mom air-kissing someone 10 feet away. I stepped out, bottle in hand, forcing calm. Harper, what the hell? She blinked up at me, gin-glazed eyes widening like she'd been caught mid-swipe on Tinder. Babe, it's just talk. Lighten up. Mia jumped in. All faux sympathy. Yeah, Gray. No offense. Chad set last week? Insane. You should link up, maybe remix some wedding shit for his warm-up. I scanned the booth. Lena smirking into her phone, probably live tweeting the shade. The guy next to her, some promoter type, nodded like he was appraising livestock. For real, man. Clubs are where the magic happens. Weddings? That's like entry level. Entry level. After I turned down 3 club offers last year because they couldn't match my wedding rates? After building a rep for seamless nights that left brides in tears of joy and planners begging for my card? I felt the heat rise. Not anger exactly, but clarity, like finally nailing the perfect drop after hours of tweaking. I set the water down, slow and deliberate. You know, Harper, I've spun for more A-listers than Chad's seen in his IG stories. That playlist I dropped last month? The one for the Hemsworth brothers rehearsal dinner? Yeah, that's me. Custom mixes for Beyoncé's cousin's vow renewal. But go off. Tell me more about how I'm not vibing. The booth went pin drop. Mia's mouth hung open. Prosecco flute frozen mid-air. Harper flushed, that red creeping up her neck like a bad filter. Gray, don't be dramatic. It's not. Not what? Not true. I pulled out my phone. Thumbed open the planner's group chat real time. Because that's how I roll on big nights. Screenshot from earlier. Grayson, you're killing it. Brides obsessed, booked you for the Grammys afterparty next year. I held it up. Not bragging. Just facts. See this? That's vibe. Real money. Real respect. Not chasing bottle service scraps. Lena whistled low. The promoter shifted, suddenly very interested in his cufflinks. Harper stammered. Babe, I didn't mean, but I was done. The dance floor called. The best man's speech was wrapping, and I had a set to salvage. Enjoy the afterparty with Chad. I'll be here making magic. I walked back to the booth, heart pounding but steady. Queued up Uptown Funk. For the garter toss crowd exploded. No one the wiser. But inside, it was over. 8 months of compromises. Of biting back when she'd trash my corny vinyl collection. Of explaining why steady beats starving artist any day. Done. The rest of the night blurred. Encores. Thank yous from the couple. A fat envelope of tips that could cover my next controller upgrade. Harper and her crew bailed around 11 at night. No goodbye, just a text as I packed up. You're overreacting. Call me tomorrow. I didn't. Drove home to my Astoria walk-up. The van speakers still thumping a lo-fi playlist to unwind. Crashed hard. Woke Sunday to rain pattering the fire escape and a voicemail from my agent. Gray, that plaza gig? Gold. 2 inquiries already owns a Kardashian connection. Monday was reset day. Emails. Playlist tweaks. A gym session to sweat out the residue. I hit the local coffee spot mid-morning, Joe's Brew. The one with the killer cold brew and mismatched mugs. That's where I ran into Scarlett. Literally, she backed into me at the cream station. Her elbow jostling my cup. A splash hitting her white blouse. Oh shit. I'm so sorry. She yelped, grabbing napkins like a pro. No harm, I said, handing her more. Close. She was striking, Mid-20s, curly hair in a loose bun, freckles across her nose like confetti, tired eyes. Though post-wedding glow faded to post-honeymoon crash. Rough morning? She laughed. A warm sound that cut the caffeine haze. You have no idea. Just officiated my best friend's wedding yesterday, bridesmaid duties. Open bar. The works. Still hearing "marry you" in my sleep. Her name tag from the weekend peeked from her bag. Scarlett Hayes, event coordinator. Wait, the plaza. That was you? The one with the epic mashup during the bouquet toss? I grinned. Guilty. Grayson. DJ for hire. Scarlett. And that set? Saved the night. My friend the bride won't shut up about it. Said it was the only part that didn't feel scripted. We chatted over refills, her job scouting venues for a small firm in Manhattan, my grind from club kid to wedding whisperer. She got it, no judgment, just genuine curiosity. Weddings are chaos, right? But you nailed the energy. Most DJs just hit play and hide. We swapped numbers before the barista called last call hers for a thank you coffee. Mine because why not? Tuesday. She texted. Free for that coffee debt? Thursday. I said yes. No pressure. Just easy talk. Her love for indie bands. My vinyl hunts in Brooklyn flea markets. By week's end, we grabbed tacos in Jackson Heights, her treat. Laughing over stories of bridezillas and groomsmen gone wild. Harper, meanwhile, went radio silent till Friday. Then the barrage, texts, missed calls, a voice note at 2 in the morning. Gray. I was drunk. Mia pushed me. We need to talk. I listened on my commute to a rehearsal dinner gig in Westchester. The city skyline fading in the rearview. Deleted it. Saturday. She escalated DMing my agent. Then showing up at my apartment unannounced. Rain-soaked and red-eyed. That same red dress now wrinkled in her bag like a bad memory. Gray. Please. She stood in the hallway. Mascara streaks framing her plea. I fucked up. Chad set? It was lame, crowd thinned out by midnight. You're the real deal. I see that now. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Now? After you aired my laundry to your squad? In the middle of my booth? She shifted, glancing past me to the turntable setup in the living roomy sanctuary. Crates stacked like trophies. They made me feel small. Like if I wasn't chasing that scene, I'd lose you. But I get it. Your gigs are fire. That celeb playlist? I told Mia, and she was shook. Mia. Of course. So your crew had to validate me for you to wake up? No. You. Gray. We were good. Her voice cracked, the rain drumming like an offbeat hi-hat. But I saw its calculation behind the tears. The club life hadn't panned out. Chad ghosted her after one hookup tease, per a mutual friend's whisper. Now she was backpedaling to the steady guy with the van and the contacts. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from Scarlett. Gig tonight? Save me a dance if you're spinning nearby. Face blowing a kiss timing. Or fate. I pocketed it. Harper. We're done. You showed me your Vibiats, not mine. She deflated, grabbing her bag. Just like that? After everything? After everything? Yeah. I closed the door soft, but firm. No scene. No slam, just the click of the lock echoing my resolve. That night was a private party in Soho Intimate. 50 guests. All finance bros and their dates. I crushed it. Deep house opener. Soulful transitions into R&B closers. Scarlett slipped in during the second set. That blouse swapped for a black slip dress. Curls loose and wild. We locked eyes over the booth. She mouthed, killing it with a wink. Post-gig. As I packed, she sidled up. Told you dance? The venue's lounge was still humming. A few stragglers nursing nightcaps. I cued a slow burner on my portable Anderson. Pock. Smooth as whiskey. We moved easy. Her hand light on my shoulder. My palm at her waist. No awkward steps. Just rhythm. You make this look effortless. She murmured, head tilting back to meet my gaze. Years of reading rooms. I said. Weddings teach you that everyone's got a story on the floor. She smiled. That freckle confetti grin. Mine's simple, tired of scripted nights. Yours? We talked till the staff kicked us out. Her divorce last year from a club guy who chased highs over her. My fresh break from the shade thrower. By dawn. Over diner eggs at 3 in the morning. Clicked. No rush, but real. 6 weeks on. Scarlett and I are solid. She's my +1 at gigs, now hyping my sets from the floor. Even jumping in with playlist ideas that blend her indie edge with my crowd pleasers. Bookings are through the roof. That Grammys after party landed. And word spreading about the vibe architect, who turns ceremonies into stories. Harper bumped into Mia at a coffee run last week. She looked rough faded glow. Stories of club drama fizzling. Back to crashing couches. Harper's a mess. Mia admitted, almost apologetic. Keeps asking about you. Said she should have appreciated the magic. I nodded. Neutral. Her loss. And it was. She chased the flash. Got burned by the flicker. Me? I'm spinning with someone who hears the beat beneath the bass. Who gets that the real drop isn't in the decibels, but in the connection. Weddings aren't just songs for drunk uncles. They're the soundtracks to lives colliding. And mine? Finally hitting the right tempo. Finally hitting the right tempo. Finally hitting the right